Welcome to this lecture on refrigeration and air conditioning. Previously, we have studied vapor compression refrigeration system, that is VCRS, vapor compression refrigeration cycle. Now we are going to study vapor absorption refrigeration system, which is in short called VARS. Okay, now in vapor absorption refrigeration system, we are going to study ammonia water vapor absorption refrigeration system, which is NH3H2O VARS. Then next one is lithium bromide water vapor absorption system. In lithium bromide water vapor absorption refrigeration system, we have twin drum, single drum, then multi effect type. Okay, so these three types we are going to cover in lithium bromide water vapor absorption refrigeration system. Okay, so after going through the lithium bromide water vapor absorption refrigeration system, we will see Electrolux domestic vapor absorption refrigeration system. After that, we will develop COP of ideal vapor absorption refrigeration system equation. Okay, solar vapor absorption refrigeration system, I think it is removed from your syllabus. Okay, it's not there. Then next one is difference between vapor compression refrigeration system and vapor absorption refrigeration system. So these things we are going to cover. So solar vapor absorption refrigeration system we are not going to cover. Okay, but just at this stage I would like to make some clarification here that in vapor absorption refrigeration system we supply some heat. Okay, and using that heat we get some cooling effect. So that heat can be sent to the system through various means, and solar is one of the way. Okay, so that is what is called solar vapor absorption refrigeration system. Okay, now first we will see ammonia water vapor absorption refrigeration system. Okay, now before going to the actual vapor absorption refrigeration system, we will see what are the characteristics of ammonia. These characteristics of ammonia we will be using while looking at the theory part of ammonia water vapor absorption refrigeration system, VARS. So first is water has large capacity to absorb ammonia. Example, water at 13 degrees Celsius is capable to dissolve 1000 times of own volume of ammonia vapor, meaning water can absorb ammonia vapors. Next, amount of ammonia vapor that water can absorb increases with increase in pressure and decreases with increase in temperature, meaning the amount of ammonia vapor that can be absorbed by water, okay, that can be controlled if we can control pressure and temperature. Okay, so if temperature is maintained less, okay, meaning the temperature is less of water, then water will absorb more ammonia. Similarly, if the pressure is more, okay, if pressure is more, water can absorb more ammonia. Okay, then during dissolution of ammonia vapor in water, heat is liberated. Okay, now here you should understand these 2 points, point 2 and point 3, they are usually used together. What happens when water absorbs the ammonia vapor? Its temperature increases. Okay, so heat is liberated, so its temperature will increase. Now that solution needs to be cooled, otherwise what will happen? Ammonia absorption capacity of water, it will decrease if the temperature of water is not reduced. So because of the dissolution of ammonia vapor in water, heat is liberated, and that heat needs to be removed. Why? Because here we have seen in second point that if temperature is reduced, then the capacity of absorption of ammonia by water increases. So that is why point 2 and point 3 are related. These work in relation when we talk about vapor absorption refrigeration system. Next is water can be induced to give up dissolved ammonia by heating. Okay, now suppose water absorbs the ammonia. Okay, so we have a solution, okay, that is called suppose strong solution. Now once that solution is heated, that water will give up the ammonia. Okay, so same thing is written over here. Water can be induced to give up dissolved ammonia by heating, since the boiling temperature of ammonia is much lower than that of water at any pressure. Okay, now with the help of these 4 points, we will be looking at ammonia water VARS. Now you have to observe here and tell me what is the difference between VCRS and VARS. So we'll discuss about this ammonia water VARS system. Okay, so here you can see, if you consider vapor compression refrigeration system, there what we had, this part was compressor, then this is condenser, receiver is there, expansion device is there, evaporator is there, again compressor is there. Now here the compressor, it is replaced by an absorber, a pump, generator and pressure reducing valve. Okay, so these 4 parts replace the compressor. First thing is this is the major difference between VCRS and VARS. Next thing, if you see, in VCRS we have only one refrigerant, okay, or it can be primary and secondary refrigerant, but here if you see, we have different terminologies. Here we have refrigerant, which is ammonia, and water is absorbent. Okay, so there will be an absorbent and there will be a refrigerant. Okay, now understand how this works. In evaporator, okay, suppose the product to be cooled or air conditioned or refrigerated is kept. Okay, there liquid ammonia is supplied, liquid plus vapor. That ammonia, it will pick up the heat from the objects to be cooled inside the evaporator. Because of that, what will happen? After the expansion device, there is low pressure, okay, low pressure and low temperature, liquid plus vapor mixture. Okay, now that liquid plus vapor, low pressure, low temperature ammonia, it enters the evaporator, where it will pick up the heat, latent heat, okay, and the ammonia liquid will get converted into ammonia vapor. Now this is low pressure, low temperature ammonia vapor. Now what happens after this, understand. So this is the absorber part. Now inside the absorber, water is there. Okay, where water comes from, you can see from 0.5. Okay, here from here, that weak solution. What is weak solution? Weak solution means mostly water. Okay, here you can see a terminology has been used, weak solution, meaning it is water. So water, it enters from 0.5 to absorber. Okay, at the same time from 0.1, what is entering? Low pressure ammonia vapor. Okay, now what will happen, that water, it will absorb the ammonia vapor. Once it absorbs the ammonia vapor, what will happen? Heat will be liberated. Okay, at the same time, pressure reduces. Since the pressure in the absorber is reducing, more ammonia will be drawn into the absorber. Now since the heat is liberated by the solution after absorbing the ammonia vapor, okay, that heat needs to be removed from the solution. Why? Otherwise, if the heat is not removed, what will happen? The ammonia absorption capacity of water, it will reduce. So here you can see in the absorber, we have a cooling coil. So what is the function of the cooling coil? It maintains the temperature of the water which is there in the absorber to a lower temperature. So what happens? Weak solution enters from 5 in the absorber, and ammonia vapor, low pressure, it enters to the absorber from 0.1. Okay, now water, weak solution, it will absorb the ammonia vapor and it will become strong solution. Now heat is liberated from that strong solution, that heat needs to be removed. So that is why cooling water arrangement is provided, and because of the absorption of ammonia vapor by the weak solution, pressure also drops. So more ammonia vapor is drawn into the absorber. Now what happens? When the weak solution absorbs the ammonia vapor, it becomes strong solution, and that strong solution exits the absorber, that is given by 0.2. Now from 0.2, you can see here a pump has been shown. The pump is attached over here so that the strong solution can be pumped to the generator. Now inside the generator, what happens? Strong solution, meaning water, and ammonia. Okay, they enter to the top of the generator. Now here you can see a heating arrangement has been provided inside the generator. So what will happen, because of the heating of the strong solution meaning what? We have water as well as ammonia. Okay, now since the boiling point of ammonia is less as compared to water, okay, because of the heating, ammonia vapors will be formed over here. Okay, water will remain as it is in the generator. Now that water is called weak solution. That weak solution, again it will go out of the generator. Here we have a pressure reducing valve. For mixing we require same pressure. Okay, so from the generator pressure to evaporator pressure we need to decrease the pressure. That is why here pressure reducing valve is provided. What is the function of the pressure reducing valve? It helps in mixing process. Okay, so that 0.5 weak solution can mix with ammonia vapor which is at 0.1. So that this pressure reducing valve, it makes the pressure of 0.5 and 0.1 as same. Okay, now in the generator, after heating, what happens? Ammonia vapors are liberated. Okay, now these ammonia vapors, it will be at high pressure. Ammonia vapor, it will go where? To the condenser. In the condenser, again some cooling water arrangement is provided, where cooling water will enter. It will pick up the heat. Here suppose there are tubes. Okay, ammonia vapor will reject its heat to the cooling water in the condenser, and because of that we will get liquid ammonia. Okay, this vapor has condensed to liquid ammonia. Now this liquid ammonia, it is stored in receiver, and as per the load it is sent to the system. Okay, now after the receiver we have expansion valve. Okay, so here what will happen? In expansion valve there will be pressure drop and temperature drop, similar to vapor compression refrigeration system. Okay, and after the expansion valve we will get low pressure, low temperature, liquid plus vapor ammonia. So this is about the theory part of simple ammonia water vapor absorption refrigeration system. And the pressure reducing valve, this is provided so that here in the absorber mixing can occur. Okay, this pressure of 0.5 and 0.1, they are made same so that mixing can occur properly. Okay, you cannot have mixing in this way. 5 number pressure is large and 1 number pressure is small. Okay, in that way we won't be getting proper mixing. Okay, it will happen reverse thing. क्या होगा? यहाँ से 5 का जो आएगा, it will be high pressure, it will enter this 0.1. Okay, it might go in the reverse direction. So that is why for proper mixing to occur, okay, this pressure reducing valve is provided so that pressure after this, okay, 0.5 pressure and 0.1 pressure are same and mixing occurs at same pressure. You can see I have shown here a control volume in red color. To this control volume what enters? Low pressure ammonia vapor. Okay, it is similar to the vapor compression refrigeration system where low pressure refrigerant vapor enters the compressor. What exits the compressor in VCRS? High pressure refrigerant vapor. Same thing here you can see. Exit of this generator we have high pressure ammonia vapor. So this is about simple vapor absorption system. Now we will see practical vapor absorption system. Okay, some modifications needs to be done in this system. Okay, what are those modifications? We will see that. So here you can see a practical vapor absorption refrigeration system has been shown. Now if you compare it with the previous diagram, this diagram, okay, I will tell you what are the changes in this diagram. Above the generator we have extra component. Here you can see analyzer. After analyzer we have here rectifier or dehydrator. Okay, and third extra component, if you see, we have two heat exchangers. One is this heat exchanger which is shown over here, and one is this heat exchanger shown over here. Now this heat exchanger on the left side which I am showing you, this is called solution heat exchanger, and right side heat exchanger, it is called liquid subcooler. Okay, now what is the function of analyzer? We will see that. Okay, now what happens? we have already seen the vapor absorption refrigeration system. Okay, aqua ammonia vapor absorption refrigeration system. What happens? Evaporator is there. From evaporator we have ammonia vapor. That ammonia vapor, it will enter the absorber, and from the top side hot weak solution, okay, it is coming. Then there is expansion, and that weak solution, after expansion, it will enter where? In the absorber. In the absorber, at same pressure, there is mixing of the weak solution, which is water. It will absorb the ammonia vapor which is coming from this side, and because of that, further the pressure is reduced in absorber while temperature is increased. Now, to maintain the absorption capacity of water, ammonia absorption capacity, here cooling arrangement is provided. Now, after that we have a pump. After that, generator is there. Now, in generator what happens? Heating is done to the strong solution so that ammonia vapor is liberated. Now, ammonia vapor, it goes to the condenser, receiver, expansion device, and again evaporator. Okay, so this is about the previous cycle which I talked about. Okay, simple vapor absorption refrigeration system. Now here you can see three more parts are attached: analyzer, rectifier or dehydrator, and next one is two heat exchangers. Okay, so we will see first the function of analyzer. Now here you can see what happens inside the generator. Usually we send strong solution. Okay, when strong solution is sent, that is mixture of water and ammonia. Okay, then that strong solution is heated, we get ammonia vapor. Now what happens? Some water is also evaporated. Okay, now if that water, it goes to the condenser, okay, the water will condense, it will go to the expansion device, and if the water is expanded in the expansion device, what will happen? There will be ice formed, the water will freeze and it will choke the pipeline. To prevent this, which device is provided here? Analyzer. Now see the construction of analyzer. It consists of series of trays mounted above the generator. So here you can see these are the series of trays mounted above the generator. Now what will happen? The strong solution, it is entering from the top side of the analyzer. Okay, it will fall on this. Okay, it will splash over there. The surface area increases. At the same time, from the bottom side, okay, here from the bottom side, I'll show you with the help of a diagram here. What happens from the bottom side? Ammonia vapor, okay, hot ammonia vapor, they are moving in upward direction. Okay, now with this ammonia vapor, we may also have water vapor. Okay, now from the top side, strong solution is moving in downward direction. Now that strong solution, it is cool. Okay, its temperature is less. So what will happen? Because of that, this cool strong solution, it will come in contact with water vapor, and because of that, that water vapor will condense and again go back to the generator. So basically what happens on the bottom side of the generator, okay, we have strong solution which is water as well as ammonia. Okay, now when this heating is provided into the generator, okay, what will happen? Ammonia is liberated, along with that some water vapor is also liberated. So water vapor and ammonia, high pressure ammonia gas vapor, it will travel in upward direction. At the same time, cool strong solution, it is traveling in downward direction in analyzer. So because of that, the water vapor which is traveling in upward direction, it will give its heat to the cool strong solution and it will condense and again fall in the generator, whereas only the ammonia vapor, it will travel where? To the rectifier or dehydrator. Now what is the advantage of using this analyzer? Here you can see there is heat exchange between the cool strong solution and hot ammonia vapor. So basically the cool solution which is falling inside the generator, it will be heated up a bit. Okay, so that is why the amount of heat required in the generator, it will reduce slightly. Okay, so because of the use of analyzer, we get two advantages. What is the first advantage? First is whatever water vapors are moving in upward direction, that water vapor is condensed so that more amount of ammonia goes to the rectifier or dehydrator. The second function is, this is the advantage, second advantage, this cool strong solution will exchange heat with this hot ammonia vapor at high pressure. Because of that, what will happen? There will be heat exchange, and the cool strong solution, it will exchange the heat, it will become warm. Because of that, whatever heat supplied in the generator, it will reduce, heat requirement will reduce. Now next we will see rectifier or dehydrator. Now ammonia vapor, suppose here at the exit of the ammonia, suppose at the top of the analyzer, you can see here we have 99% of ammonia, for example, and 1% still we have water vapor. So water vapor and ammonia will enter rectifier or dehydrator. Now in the rectifier and dehydrator, again cooling arrangement is provided. Here you can see cooling water enters and this is the cooling water exit. Okay, so what will happen from the, suppose here also we have some amount of water vapor. So that water vapor will also be condensed in liquid and it is sent to this drip tube. Okay, through this drip tube back to the analyzer to generator, through analyzer to generator. Okay, next what happens? This at the exit of the rectifier or dehydrator, we have dry or anhydrous ammonia vapor. Now we don't have moisture in the refrigerant. Okay, so what will happen because of that? After during the expansion where pressure and temperature drops, this tube, okay, here there will be a tube. This tube will not be choked. Okay, there will not be freezing of the water vapor or water, and because of that there will not be choking of the tube. Okay, next we will see these two heat exchangers. Okay, here one heat exchanger has been shown and here one heat exchanger has been shown. Okay, first we will see liquid subcooler. Now what is the function of liquid subcooler? Okay, here you can see in the name itself it is written, it is subcooler, meaning whatever condenser outlet is there, at the outlet of the condenser we have liquid ammonia. Liquid ammonia. This liquid ammonia, it is sent to this liquid subcooler, and because of that, at the exit of the liquid subcooler, here at this location we will get subcooled liquid ammonia, and then there is expansion. And since here we are doing the subcooling of liquid ammonia, refrigerating effect will increase. We have already seen in vapor compression refrigeration system, when subcooling is done, refrigerating effect increases. Okay, now how is this heat exchanged basically? Okay, how this liquid ammonia gets subcooled? Okay, now what happens after expansion? We have liquid plus vapor ammonia at low pressure. Okay, it will enter the evaporator, it will pick up the latent heat, all the liquid will get converted into vapor. Okay, its temperature is less, pressure is also less. So this low temperature ammonia vapor, it enters where? In the liquid subcooler. Now this liquid ammonia, okay, which is entering from, which is at the exit of the condenser. Okay, I'll show you that by red color. Okay, so this is exit of the condenser. It will be at higher temperature. Whereas if you see this exit of the evaporator, it will be at low temperature. Okay, here we have vapor, here we have liquid. So that is why this is called liquid vapor heat exchanger. Okay, liquid subcooler. So what happens basically, this liquid ammonia, it will give its heat to this vapor. Okay, and because of that there will be subcooling of this liquid ammonia and we get subcooled liquid ammonia at this point. So this is the function of liquid subcooler. Next you can observe a heat exchanger which has been shown over here. Okay, this heat exchanger is called solution heat exchanger. Now what is the heat exchanging medium over here? You can see from the bottom side with the help of pump, cool strong solution is being sent to the solution heat exchanger. So here we have cool strong solution. Okay, I am showing that the blue line. At the same time from the top side we have hot weak solution. Okay, so this hot weak solution, it will give its heat to the cool strong solution. Now because of this, what will happen? This cool strong solution, it will become slightly warm and because of that, whatever the heat is required in the generator, okay, that heat value it will reduce. Heat supplied in the generator, that value will reduce. So that is why here a solution heat exchanger has been provided. So if you consider practical vapor absorption refrigeration system, aqua ammonia system, what is the refrigerant? Refrigerant is ammonia. What is the absorbent? Absorbent is water. Okay, and in practical vapor absorption refrigeration system, three parts, okay, three components are more as compared to simple system. What are these? Analyzer, then rectifier or dehydrator, and third is two heat exchangers. Okay, one is solution heat exchanger and one is liquid subcooler. Next we will see lithium bromide vapor absorption refrigeration system. Now in this we are going to see twin drum system, single drum system, and next is multi-effect system. Okay, now this single stage or single effect, okay, in that we have two types, twin drum and single drum. Okay, and multi-effect, what is that, we will see as we go to the topic. So we will see the twin drum lithium bromide water vapor absorption refrigeration system. Okay, now understand this, the diagram looks complex but it is easy. Okay, we will start from a point, okay, and from there we will go to the complete cycle and again reach back to the same point. So here this is called twin drum. Why? Because here you can see we have two drums, okay, one is this drum and second is the bottom drum. Now the top drum, it is at high pressure, it is HP drum, and bottom drum, it is LP drum, it is at low pressure. Now here water is used as a refrigerant and lithium bromide, it is used as absorbent. If you compare it with aqua ammonia system, okay, ammonia water vapor absorption refrigeration system, which we have seen just before this one, what was the refrigerant there? Ammonia. What is the refrigerant here? Water. What was the absorbent there? It was water. What is the absorbent here? It is lithium bromide, LiBr. Now because of this water being refrigerant over here, okay, we have to keep the air conditioning system above 0 degree Celsius because water will freeze at 0 degree Celsius. Okay, so usually it is kept above 4 degree Celsius temperature. So with this lithium bromide water VARS, we cannot go below 0 degree Celsius. Even we usually keep the system at 4 degree Celsius. Now this lithium bromide, it is corrosive in nature. So in order to prevent the corrosion, okay, here corrosion inhibitors are added. Okay, so because of that, what will happen? There will be the rate at which the corrosion take place, that is reduced. Okay, because of corrosion inhibitors. Now we will start from, we have to start this answer from some point. Okay, explanation from some point. So we will start it from this drum, bottom drum. Okay, now understand this. From here, high temperature water enters. This is which water? Suppose this is the application which you require. Okay, you are supplying the hot water, water at higher temperature to the lithium bromide VARS system. That water, it will get cooled, and here you will get at the exit of the VARS system low temperature water. This is the application which we want. Okay, so suppose you have hot water tank. From there you are supplying the the normal water room temperature water tank. From there you are supplying the water to the evaporator. Okay, in evaporator it will the high temperature water, it will exchange the heat with the refrigerant, and at the exit you can see here we are getting cold low temperature water. So this is the application part. Okay, from where we get the refrigerating effect. Now how we get this refrigerating effect, understand that. On the, if you see the bottom drum, in the bottom drum, this drum is low pressure drum where we have evaporator and absorber, and on the top side we have high pressure drum where we have generator and condenser. Now here what happens, here you can see a tray has been provided. Okay, I'll show you the tray. this is the tray. Inside the tray, we have low temperature water, which is refrigerant. Okay, so that low temperature water which is there inside this tray, here you can see it is taken on this side with the help of pump, and it is pumped. Here you can see this is spray. Okay, spray nozzle is provided here, so that cold water which is refrigerant, it is sprayed over this evaporator tube. Now inside the evaporator tube also we have water, but that water is different. What is that water? That is the application. Okay, that water we need to cool. But inside this green tray we have chilled water, chilled refrigerant. Why? Because that is evaporator, and that chilled water with the help of pump, it is sprayed on the evaporator tube. Now what will happen? Since inside the evaporator tube we have hot water, and on the surface we are spraying the chill water, and this drum is at low pressure. So when pressure reduces, the boiling point of water reduces. Okay, so that is why what will happen, this chill water, it is there on the outer surface of the tube. It will pick up the heat from the water which is there inside the tube, and it will evaporate. So here we have, in the evaporator there will be generation of water vapor. Now this water vapor, it will be absorbed by, here you can see, strong lithium bromide solution. Strong lithium bromide solution meaning what? Lithium bromide is more, water is less. So this strong lithium bromide solution, it is sprayed from here inside the absorber. So here you can see inside the absorber strong lithium bromide solution is sprayed. Okay, that strong lithium bromide solution, it will absorb the water vapor which is generated in the evaporator, and it will become weak solution. Now you can see on the bottom side of the absorber, here we have weak solution. Now after the absorption, okay, when strong solution, that is lithium bromide solution, it absorbs the water vapor, heat is liberated. Now in order to maintain the absorption capacity of this strong lithium bromide solution, here you can see a cooling arrangement has been provided in absorber. So what here you can see, this is a cooling pond from where water is taken with the help of pump. It first goes to the absorber where it picks up the heat, so that the absorption rate of the strong lithium bromide solution, absorption rate of the water of this solution by this solution, it is maintained same. Okay, then here you can see that cold water from here, it is then taken to the condenser, same water, and it goes out of the condenser. Then on the bottom side of the absorber, what we have, strong solution, strong lithium bromide solution, it absorbs the water vapor. So this solution which is there on the bottom side of the absorber, it becomes weak solution. Now this weak lithium bromide solution, with the help of the pump shown over here, it enters the heat exchanger. Now this weak solution, it is at low temperature. This strong solution, it is coming from generator, it is at high temperature. So here heat exchanger has been provided. Why? Because the strong solution which is hot, it will give its heat to the weak solution. Okay, then this weak solution will go to the generator. So basically what will happen, when this weak solution, it goes to the generator, here heating is done inside the generator. So the amount of heat supplied to the generator will reduce. Why? Because we are using heat exchanger over here. Heat is exchanged, heat is given by the strong lithium bromide solution to the weak lithium bromide solution. Now this weak lithium bromide solution, it is pumped through this heat exchanger to the generator. Now here you can see, this is, here the weak solution is there. Okay, this weak solution, it is heated with the help of heating coil. Because of that, what will happen, whatever water is there, okay, that will evaporate. Water will evaporate. What will remain? Strong lithium bromide solution. That strong lithium bromide solution which is hot is again sent through this heat exchanger where the strong lithium bromide solution, it gives its heat to weak solution, and again it comes to the absorber where the strong solution is sprayed. Okay, now here we have water vapor. This vapor, it will rise to the top. Okay, now this part, you can see this is the condenser. What will happen in the condenser? Here we have water vapor. It comes in contact with the cooling water. This is the chill water tube, condenser water tube. So the water will get condensed and it will be condensed in this tray. After getting condensed in the tray, this water, with the help of gravity, you can see this goes to the pressure reducing valve. Okay, now because of the pressure reducing valve, what will happen? The pressure and temperature of the water, it will decrease from the high pressure drum to the low pressure drum, and that cold water, it is sent where? To the bottom tray. Okay, this is the bottom tray. Now the process will continue from the bottom tray. In the bottom tray we have chilled water. This, with the help of pump, again it is sprayed on the evaporator coil. Inside the evaporator coil we have hot water. Okay, so this, whatever the water is sprayed, chilled water, refrigerant is sprayed, it will pick up the heat, it will vaporize. That water vapor, it will be absorbed by this strong lithium bromide solution. It will become weak solution. Weak solution is again pumped through the heat exchanger to the generator, where heating is done. Because of that, again water is liberated. Okay, we get strong lithium bromide solution, which is again sent back to the lower drum, and the water vapor is condensed in the condenser, again sent to the expansion device, from where its pressure and temperature is reduced, again sent back to the tray, and the same cycle repeats again and again. So this is the working of lithium bromide water VARS. Now here you can see this is an example of lithium bromide vapor absorption refrigeration system. Usually if you compare VCRS and VARS system, it is very big. Here you can see the size of the system. This model is made by Thermax. Okay, and we will see the different parts of this lithium bromide VARS system. Okay, so here you can see the top part, this is the generator. Okay, here you can see this horizontal one. Okay, this part, it is generator. Okay, this part is generator, this bottom part is the absorber. From here you can see this pipe is open. Okay, this is the pipe. This pipe is connected where? To the cooling pond. Okay, I'll show you in the diagram. This is the cooling pond. From the cooling pond, a pump is there, and that pump, it sends the cooling water to absorber and then to condenser. Same thing you can see over here. From cooling pond there will be a pump, water is sent to the absorber, and then from absorber it is sent to the condenser. Same thing you can observe over here. Okay, next, here you can see hot water enters from here. This is the application part. Okay, from here the hot water enters and it will become cool because of the chilled water, that is the refrigerant in this case, and the cool water will come out from this side. Okay, then top side we have generator. Now usually what is done in the generator, whatever heat is supplied, it is basically in the form of low grade energy. What is high grade and low grade energy? High grade energy is mechanical work, low grade energy is heat. So heat is sent to the generator. Okay, now suppose if you have an industry, in that industry we have boiler. So steam is available. So whatever steam is available, that if steam is sent to this generator, we can get cooling effect. Okay, so this is how the system works. Okay, now we will see the generator part. Here you can see there is a opening from where the steam can enter the generator. Okay, so it is similar to this one, this diagram if you see, it is similar to that one. Okay, this is lithium bromide water vapor absorption refrigeration system. So this is, here you can see it is single stage or single effect, and we have seen twin drum. Now we will see single drum. Now in single drum what will happen, only change will be, here we have two drums, there we will have single drum. Okay, so we will see the single drum lithium bromide VARS. lithium bromide water VARS. So here you can observe there is a diaphragm provided. Okay, here there is a diaphragm. This diaphragm, it is dividing this single drum into two zones. Top zone is high pressure zone and bottom zone, this much part, it is low pressure zone. Rest working will be similar to the twin drum type of system. Okay, it is similar to the twin drum, only difference is what? We have a diaphragm in between which is separating the high pressure and low pressure zones. Okay, rest you can see in the low pressure zone we have absorber and evaporator, and in high pressure part of the drum we have generator and condenser. Rest of the working it is similar to the twin drum. Okay, now the major problem of this lithium bromide water VARS system is crystallization. Okay, so we are not going in details of this, okay, because for this you require the knowledge of analysis of vapor absorption refrigeration system, which is very much in detail. Okay, so we are not going in details of how this crystallization occurs, but I'll show you a diagram. Okay, in vapor absorption refrigeration system, basically we use enthalpy versus concentration diagram. Okay, for both aqua ammonia and lithium bromide water system. Okay, so here you can see we have enthalpy on y-axis and on x-axis we have concentration, and here there is, these are temperature lines. Okay, now if you see this zone over here, this side we have crystallization zone. Okay, this is enthalpy concentration diagram for H2O lithium bromide solution. Okay, so because of this crystallization, what will happen, I'll show you the problem of this. When hot strong solution is cooled, it can block the solution heat exchanger. So what is the solution for this crystallization effect? Condenser pressure is artificially maintained high so that crystallization is avoided, or second solution is additives are added to inhibit crystallization. Okay, so these are the two solutions for this. Obviously there are many more problems involved with this lithium bromide water VARS system, which we are not going to discuss here. Okay, so this is the major problem of crystallization. Now this is called multi-effect lithium bromide water VARS. Okay, so we will see what is this multi-effect lithium bromide water VARS. In multi-effect systems, a series of generators operating at progressively reducing pressures are used. So here you can see, I'll show you the diagram. This part is the lower drum, where here you can see low state generator is there, condenser is there, and bottom side we have evaporator and absorber. And on the top side, okay, here you can see a diaphragm has been shown. This is the diaphragm which is separating the high pressure and low pressure zones. And on the top side we have one more generator. That is why this is called multi-effect. This is two stage, you can say, or double effect type of lithium bromide water VARS. So majorly what is done, this high stage generator, their heat is supplied, and whatever heat is remained, okay, unused heat, it is used in the lower stage generator. Okay, rest of the working it will remain same. Okay, as we have seen in the twin drum. Okay, the only difference here is what? Heat is supplied where? To the high stage generator, and whatever heat is not utilized, that heat is sent where? To the low stage generator. In multi-effect systems, a series of generators operating at progressively reducing pressures are used. Heat is supplied to highest stage generator operating at highest pressure. The enthalpy of steam generated from this generator is used to generate some more refrigerant vapor in the lower stage generator, and so on. So you can have multi-effect. Okay, whatever we have seen, that is double effect. Okay, you can have furthermore. In this manner, the heat input to the system is used efficiently by generating more refrigerant vapor, leading to higher COP. So if you compare multi-effect system with single effect system, definitely the COP will be higher. in case of multi-effect system. Next we will see domestic Electrolux refrigerator. It is also called 3-fluid absorption system. Now this type of domestic absorption refrigeration system, it was invented by two Swedish engineers, Carl Munters and Alster von Platen, in 1925. Okay, so later on it was developed into commercial product. Okay, the company was called as Electrolux AB. Okay, the domestic absorption type refrigerator was developed from an invention by Carl Munters and Balzer von Platen. That is why this system is often called as Munters-Platen system. Okay, now understand the construction and working of this system. Important thing here to notice is we don't have a pump. Okay, so here pump is not there. First point. Second point, instead of 2 fluids, here 3 fluids are used. That is why this is called which type of system? 3-fluid absorption system. Third point is we don't have expansion device here. Instead of expansion device, what we are using here? Hydrogen. This is third major point. Okay, based on this we have to explain this answer. Okay, so we'll see the explanation part of this one. We don't have pump in this system. That is why this domestic Electrolux refrigerator, it is noiseless. Here we have 3 fluids. What are these 3 fluids? First fluid is ammonia, which is refrigerant. Second fluid is hydrogen, which is basically used to get refrigerating effect. How it is done we will see later on. Third one is water, which is solvent, or you can say absorbent. Now here this complete system, it works on gravity. We don't have any pump. Okay, everything works on gravity, and there will be vapor is having less density, so it will rise. Liquid is having more density, so it will travel in downward direction. So based on gravity, this complete system works. And what is the only source of energy required here? Here you can see gas burner is there. Rest, the whole system works automatically and you get refrigerating effect. We don't have pump, we don't have compressor, nothing. We don't even have expansion device here. Okay, so we'll see the working of this. This is the absorber. We will start from absorber. Inside the absorber, observe this, from this side ammonia and hydrogen, ammonia vapor and hydrogen enters the absorber. This is absorber. From the top side, weak solution enters. What is weak solution? Weak solution means more water is there. Okay, now weak solution, it will absorb the ammonia vapor. It will become strong solution. That strong solution is collected on the bottom side. Now hydrogen being light, okay, it is light. What are the properties of hydrogen? It is insoluble in water. Okay, it is non-corrosive. So that is why hydrogen, since it is light, it will again travel in this direction and it will go back to the evaporator from this side, hydrogen part. Now the strong solution from the absorber, it goes to the solution heat exchanger. This is solution heat exchanger, where there will be heat exchange between the strong solution which is cool and the weak solution which is hot. So weak solution will give its heat to the strong solution so that the heat requirement in the generator is reduced. Now this strong solution, it goes to the generator. In the generator, the strong solution is heated. So what is the strong solution? Water and ammonia. Now since the boiling point of ammonia is less as compared to water, okay, ammonia will vaporize. So because of the heating, ammonia will vaporize, and whatever is remaining in the generator, that will be weak solution. That weak solution, it will again go back where? To the absorber. Now the ammonia vapor, it goes to the rectifier, where suppose some moisture content is there in the ammonia vapor, that is removed, then anhydrous ammonia vapors, okay, dry ammonia vapor, it goes to the condenser. After condenser we get liquid ammonia. Now if you see the evaporator, inside the evaporator liquid ammonia enters and hydrogen enters. Now what is the function of hydrogen? Understand that hydrogen is used to increase the rate of evaporation of liquid ammonia in evaporator. Now this works on the principle of Dalton's law of partial pressure. Here you should understand that in the total Electrolux refrigeration system, okay, vapor absorption refrigeration system, everywhere the total pressure is same. Total pressure is same, and if you consider the evaporator, inside the evaporator we have two pressures, okay. Total pressure, it will be partial pressure of hydrogen plus partial pressure of ammonia. Now the hydrogen pressure, it is very large as compared to liquid ammonia pressure. Because of that, what will happen, since the partial pressure of ammonia is less, okay, because of that what will happen, hydrogen, it increases the evaporation rate of liquid ammonia in evaporator. So whatever products are kept in the evaporator, suppose this is a refrigerator, some products are kept, it will give up its heat to the liquid ammonia. That liquid will get converted into vapor ammonia. That vapor ammonia and hydrogen, it will exit the evaporator, it will go back to the absorber, where ammonia vapor is absorbed by the weak solution, whereas hydrogen, since it is light gas, it will again go back to the evaporator. So what is the circuit? What is the circuit for hydrogen? Hydrogen, it travels from evaporator to absorber, then from absorber to again evaporator. What about ammonia? Ammonia, here you can see weak solution is there, so here we don't have much ammonia. Weak solution absorbs the ammonia vapor, here we have strong solution, so this is the ammonia circuit. It comes over to the generator, ammonia vapors are liberated, then it goes here, okay, this is the ammonia circuit. What is the water circuit here? Here you can see strong solution, it will have water, then it goes to the generator. In generator we have, after heating we get weak solution, okay, that weak solution means it will be complete water, okay, mostly it will be water, so that is again part of the water circuit. So here we have three fluids. Ammonia is refrigerant, hydrogen, it is used to increase the evaporation rate of ammonia in evaporator. We don't have expansion device here, please remember that. And then the next is water, which is acting as solvent or absorbent. Okay, now we'll see about the pressure part. Okay, here you can understand the pressures, partial pressures and the total pressure values. Some examples are given. This has been taken from CP Arora, refrigeration and air conditioning by CP Arora. So here you can see condenser is there, evaporator inlet is there, evaporator outlet is there, generator top side is there. Total pressure everywhere is same, 20.33 bar. Okay, but if you see the condenser, inside the condenser we only have ammonia, we don't have water. Okay, so we don't have water, we don't have hydrogen. Evaporator inlet, we have ammonia and we have hydrogen. So here you can understand that hydrogen pressure is more and ammonia pressure is less, and the total pressure it is remaining same, 20.33 bar. So because of this, since the partial pressure of ammonia is less, because of that what will happen, hydrogen, it helps in the refrigerating effect, okay, it helps in evaporation of ammonia by reducing its partial pressure. Okay, at exit of the evaporator we will have ammonia, we will have hydrogen. And on the top side of the generator where we have strong solution, there you can see ammonia quantity is more and water pressure it is less. Okay, so ammonia pressure is more and water pressure is less. So this is about the partial pressures. So this is the partial pressure, addition of three pressure, and this is the total pressure. So this Electrolux refrigerator, it works on Dalton's law of partial pressure. So if you consider condenser where we have pure NH3, total pressure is what? Pure NH3 vapor pressure. If you consider evaporator, vapor pressure of ammonia, it will be total pressure minus hydrogen pressure, partial pressure of hydrogen. Total pressure minus partial pressure of hydrogen. This we get from Dalton's law of partial pressure. Okay, in this way, here you can see if pressure of the ammonia is reduced, its temperature will reduce. If pressure is reduced, it will pick up the heat and boil fast, and you will get refrigerating effect. So here example is given. Consider the condenser temperature as 50 degrees Celsius and evaporator temperature as minus 15 degrees Celsius. The corresponding vapor pressures of NH3 are, condenser pressure should be 20.33. From there we get this 20.33. So if you refer the properties of ammonia, property tables of ammonia, which we have already seen in VCRS. Okay, if you consider these temperatures 50 degrees Celsius and minus 15 degrees Celsius, saturation condenser temperature and saturation evaporator temperature, from there you can read the pressure values. Okay, so this is condenser pressure, which is total pressure, because we have in condenser ammonia only. And if you consider evaporator 2.36, this will be only ammonia pressure. Okay, and hydrogen pressure will be different, and total will give addition of partial pressure of ammonia and partial pressure of hydrogen will give total pressure. Now we will see actual Electrolux system, how it works on gravity. Okay, so here you can see I have shown the Electrolux vapor absorption refrigeration system on left hand side, and the diagram has been shown on right hand side, the internal construction and working. So understand the parts over here. This container, you can see a vessel has been shown on bottom side. Okay, this vessel is absorber vessel. Okay, now here you can see these coils are there. These coils are absorber coils. Okay, here you can see these inclined coils, these are absorber coils. This top side, here you can see this is condenser, this part is condenser. Okay, here this part is generator where electrical heating is provided. So this part here you can see boiler has been written, this is generator part. This is the part where heating is done. Okay, now top side here you can see separator is there. So this part is what? Separator, where if moisture is there, that is separated. Okay, and evaporator is not visible in this diagram, left side diagram. It will be there on the front side of the refrigerator. This whatever left hand side diagram is shown, that is back side of the refrigerator. So here evaporator is not visible. Here you can see this tube, it goes inside. Okay, so back side there will be evaporator. But here in this diagram, here you can see this evaporator is present. So this part is the evaporator part. Now how this works, we will see that. Okay, now in absorber, okay, in this absorber vessel, bottom side we will have this blue color part. It is strong ammonia solution. Okay, strong solution meaning more amount of ammonia is there. Okay, it goes where? It goes through the tube to the generator. So here you can see this blue color part, it goes to the generator. Now in the generator, this strong solution, it is heated. Okay, at the same time here you can see we have tubing tube arrangement, meaning this is heat exchanger. Inside we have strong solution and outside there is weak solution. This is tube in tube type of heat exchanger. So the weak solution, basically it will give its heat to the strong solution inside the tube. Okay, so this is the heat exchanger part. Okay, now here this strong solution is there on the bottom side. Here it is heated. It will get converted into what? Ammonia vapor. This ammonia vapor, it will rise up. This is ammonia vapor, and here we have separator. So water which is separated, it will again fall down, and this is the weak solution which goes to the absorber tube again. Okay, so here in the absorber tube again the weak solution, it will go to the absorber tube. You can refer this with the previous diagram. Okay, which diagram? I will show you the diagram. Okay, you can compare it with this diagram. Same thing you will be able to observe. Okay, here everything works on gravity, huh? Understand that. Now, ammonia vapor, it will travel in upward direction and it will go where? In the condenser. This part, here you can see this part is the condenser. This part is the condenser. So, ammonia vapor, it will get condensed, and here you can see this is the liquid ammonia. This liquid ammonia, it enters the evaporator. At the same time, here you can see this is the hydrogen. It is also entering the evaporator. Okay, now this because of the hydrogen, what will happen? The partial pressure of liquid ammonia, it will reduce. Okay, and because of that, there will be evaporation of ammonia after picking up the heat. Then here you can see the green part, green and red dotted part. That is hydrogen plus ammonia. Here you can see the color coding, hydrogen plus ammonia. So that hydrogen plus ammonia, it will come from this side and it will follow this part. Directly it will move in downward direction. So here you can see from this part, here there is a pipe. This pipe, it is directly connected to this absorber vessel on the bottom side. Okay, so here there is a pipe. So directly what will happen? Ammonia and hydrogen vapor, it will go where? To the absorber vessel. Then again from this vessel, here you can see the blue particles. Okay, this from here what will happen? Hydrogen, it will move in upward direction and it will go back to the evaporator part. So in this way, with the help of gravity, this domestic Electrolux vapor absorption refrigerator works. Okay, so I'll zoom and show you this diagram. Okay, here you can see this part. Here you can see a tube is there. So from here directly that ammonia vapor and hydrogen, it goes to this absorber vessel. Okay, so this is the diagram based on which the left hand side setup works. So three things you should remember here. This system has three fluids. Refrigerant is ammonia, absorbent is water, and we don't have expansion device. Instead of that, we use hydrogen. Next, the complete system works on gravity. We don't have pump over here. Okay, and the heat is supplied where? In the generator. So COP of this Electrolux refrigerator, it is given by heat absorbed in the evaporator upon heat supplied in the generator. What is COP? Desired effect upon work supplied. Okay, what is the desired effect? Heat absorbed in evaporator. And where is the work supplied? Here you can see gas burner is there. Okay, so heat is supplied in generator. So heat absorbed in the evaporator upon heat supplied in the generator. This is equation of COP. Now we will see advantages and disadvantages of this Electrolux refrigerator. In Electrolux refrigerator, major advantage is we don't have pump or compressor. So no mechanical troubles, maintenance cost is less, no lubrication problem, no wear and tear, because here we don't have moving parts. Okay, we don't have compressor, we don't have pump, so no wear and tear, and it will be quite in operation as compared to other refrigeration system. It is completely leak proof, noiseless, then no chance of pressure unbalancing and need no walls. System may be designed to use any available source of thermal energy, that is processed steam, exhaust from engines or turbines, solar energy, etc. Easy controls simply by controlling heat input. Okay, so we can control the heat input which is given to the generator and we can control the process easily. Disadvantages: more complicated in construction and working. COP is very low. This is the reason why majorly this system is not commercially used. Okay, it is used in domestic system, but it is not used in industries. Next major disadvantage of this type of refrigerator are that if it is spoiled once, it cannot be repaired and has to be replaced fully. Next we will see difference between vapor absorption refrigeration system and vapor compression refrigeration system. Now here particulars are written, and based on that we are differentiating between vapor absorption and vapor compression refrigeration system. So first point is type of energy supplied. In vapor absorption refrigeration system, we mainly supply what? Heat. And heat is what? Low grade energy. Usually the source of heat is steam or solar energy. And if you consider vapor compression refrigeration system, here we supply mechanical energy. It is high grade energy. Then energy supplied for VARS, it is very high compared to refrigerating effect, whereas in case of VCRS, energy supplied is low as compared to refrigerating effect. That is why COP of vapor absorption refrigeration system, it is low as compared to COP of vapor compression refrigeration system. So vapor compression refrigeration system have higher COP. Next, if you consider vapor absorption refrigeration system, we don't have compressor. Instead of compressor, we have absorber, pump, generator and pressure reducing valve. So that is why here in case of vapor absorption refrigeration system, we have less wear and tear and noise. It is quiet in operation. But if you consider vapor compression refrigeration system, since compressor is there, moving parts are there. So there will be more wear and tear and noise in case of vapor compression refrigeration system. Next, performance at part load condition. Now suppose you are using this two systems, vapor absorption refrigeration system and vapor compression refrigeration system. They are not operating at full load, meaning their capacity is there, something capacity is given, and we are not operating at full capacity. So at part loads, what will happen? In vapor absorption refrigeration system, performance is not affected by load variation. But if you consider VCRS, there we have poor performance at part load conditions. Next, size of the condenser. In case of vapor absorption refrigeration system, it is small, and VCRS it is large. Next, evaporator pressure. The capacity of the system is controlled by adjusting the steam or generator temperature. Okay, but if you consider VCRS, if the evaporator pressure is reduced, capacity of the system decreases rapidly. This we have already seen. If you recall the vapor compression refrigeration system, there we have seen effect of evaporator pressure. So if evaporator pressure is increased, COP increases. If evaporator pressure is decreased, COP decreases. Either you can talk in terms of COP or you can talk in terms of capacity. Okay, same thing is written here, that the capacity of the system decreases rapidly with reduced evaporator pressure. Next, leakage of refrigerant. There is no chance, as there is no compressor to cause leakage here in VARS. But if you consider VCRS, there are more chances of leakage, because in VCRS we have compressor, and compressor develops high pressure. So pressure gradient is more in case of VCRS. But in VARS, we don't have that much pressure gradient. Next, maintenance. VARS requires much less maintenance compared to VCRS. Space. VARS systems are more bulky for smaller units, and they are compact for larger capacity system. Okay, as compared to VCRS. So we have seen the lithium bromide vapor absorption refrigeration system. We will go back to that. You can see this lithium bromide vapor absorption system, it is bulky. Okay, here you can clearly observe in this photo. Then cost for large tonnage. So for VARS the cost is less, and VCRS the cost is more comparatively. Then damage. So since in VARS we don't have compressor, if liquid traces of refrigerant are present in the piping at exit of evaporator, it doesn't constitute any danger, because we don't have compressor in VARS. But if you see vapor compression refrigeration system, VCRS, liquid traces in the suction line may damage the compressor. Why? Because of sludging. Now, suitability. it can be used at remote places, and here VCRS, it is used where high grade energy is available. So this VARS system, it can be used at remote places also where electricity is not there, because we can supply steam or we can use solar energy. But usually the VCRS we can use where we have electricity. Okay, so these are the differentiating points between vapor absorption refrigeration system and vapor compression refrigeration system.